Okay, great. We're recording. So tonight we're in the money. If y'all have questions as we go, just let me know. It will still be kind of whatever, and then I'll give you a chance at the end to ask some more questions if after I stop the recording. So y'all just remind me to stop the recording so that way y'all can ask some questions at the end. But one of the things we're going to start with is some time stuff. So, because time equals money in Mary Kay. And if you can learn to manage your time and learn to manage the list of things to do, okay? Because not only do you have a list of Mary Kay things to do, but you've really got a long list of mama, wife, real world life list of things to do. So, one of the things that we want to do as your sales directors and your leaders and your mentors and business coaches is help you, provide you some tools to help you figure out and manage that time as best as possible. And so one of the things that we have, and I'm going to try and share my screen so that way y'all can see it. Okay. Is this daily calendar weekly plan sheet. Okay, this is a weekly plan sheet. This has been adapted from the weekly plan sheet. If you just type weekly plan sheet in Mary Kay in Touch, you can find one if you would like your weeks to start on Sunday. Because technically the week starts on Sunday. But for my brain, my week always starts on Monday with school. Because I was a school teacher, so therefore I always felt like my new week started on Monday. Okay. So let me blow that up for you so you can see. Stop. No, I do not want to stop. Okay, I'm trying to make this big. There we go. All right, so, but it basically goes from 8 in the morning to 9 in the p.m. When I was teaching school and working full time, I had one that started at like 4 and went on the half hour marks. I just created this in Excel. You can create it in a table, okay, but I have this as a PDF under tracking. Probably it's on my website, but this is just a weekly plan sheet. Again, if you want yours to start on Sunday, and basically what you do is you fill in all the family stuff, all the church stuff, all the responsibilities and events, and then it allows you to see kind of where you have pockets of time. So right here at 8 o'clock, one of the things I want y'all to put on your calendar is on Monday nights at 8:15. We do a Zoom meeting at 8:15, okay? Julie does her Zoom meeting at 9 p.m. on Tuesday. So if you are in one of our units, or let's say you can't make the Monday night meeting and you need to do it on Tuesdays, Julie is more than happy for you to join her meeting. And if you are in Julie's unit and need to join my meeting, that is totally, definitely, you're more than welcome to do that. So just kind of getting that on your calendar and then setting a reminder in your phone, okay? So this is what we call a weekly plan sheet, all right? And again, it just allows you to see pockets of time where you have time to work Mary Kay. Because our goal is for you to work it into your schedule with things that you already have going on and around your kids' schedules and your work schedule and your life schedule, instead of it feeling like it's another thing on the to-do list. All right. And so that is one of the things. I sit down on Sunday evenings tonight around 9:30 or 10 o'clock. I will sit down and do my weekly plan sheet for the week. And so one of the things that I do for my calendar, okay, is my calendar. I have a month at a glance calendar just so I can put things on the calendar, months ahead. Okay. So I'll show you what this looks like for me. Okay. It looks a little crazy. I got 3 kids playing activities. Okay. So this is all the things that I needed to put on my calendar. So then what I'll do tonight is I'll sit down and I'll transfer this week's things to my weekly plan sheet. Okay. And I typically do 2 weeks in a time and make sure that everything's on there, because I feel like that gives me a chance as far as bookings to either book people this week or next week. I don't really like to book people any farther out than 2 weeks, because typically they don't even know what they're doing tomorrow, much less if they know what they're doing in 2 weeks. And so my cancellations are less when I try and book them within the week. I really love to book them within the 7-day week, but if they need to push me out to 2 weeks, I'll do that. Otherwise, I'll typically say, hey, let me call you back. We can tentatively schedule you for June 22nd. picking that date just randomly. But I'll touch base with you, around the 15th and make sure that that's still going to work. Because chances are something has happened, a baseball game has come up, whatever, birthday party, no telling what. All right. So that's one thing that I do. The other thing that helps you manage your time is your calendar, as far as the daily calendar. In your starter kit came a beautiful planner. Okay. If you love that planner, great, go for it. If you have a planner that you already use, great. If you're an electronic girl and you like your calendar on your phone, that is totally fine too. Okay. One of the things that I do again is I have my personal calendar. Where's my calendar? Here we go. I'm gonna show it to you. And I will be more than happy to share this with you. But basically it gives me 30-minute increments from 8 to 9. Again, it matches my weekly plan sheet. And then it gives me a chance down here to make some notes, to make lists on my calendar. So basically, I now have adopted the Happy Planner. Okay, can you kind of see? I don't know if you know what the Happy Planner is, but it has these rings. And there's a punch that goes along with it. So I just had them printed at Office Depot and then put them in my Happy Planner. If you want to use a 3-ring binder, you can just 3-ring hole punch them and put them in a binder. I used to actually have them bound at Office Depot, which is really not that expensive, surprisingly. It's like $7 for 2 months worth of planner. I used to do 2 months at a time, but then I found that I really love being able to stick other pieces of paper in my planner. So when it was spiral bound, I couldn't really do that. So that's one of the reasons why, somebody suggested this Happy Planner, and I really do like it because I don't necessarily love the 3-ring notebook to have to open and close it. I think it's my stand against the world because I used to teach school and I used to hate when the 3-ring binders no longer met. You know how they get separated and then your papers won't turn? Drives me crazy. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all, what I mean? It's my thing that drives me crazy. So I kind of veer away from the 3-ring hole puncher. But I think it is easy and it's really, pretty affordable to go get a new 3-ring binder and stick your calendar in there. Okay. So no matter what you like as far as the calendar, we do recommend that you figure out where you want to put your appointments and that kind of thing. National Sales Director Kay Driggers, who actually lives in Columbia, South Carolina, she said that your smartphone makes you smart. So to use your smartphone and put reminders in there as you need to. And so one of the things that I do is every Sunday night, I have a reminder that goes off for new consultant training. I have a reminder every Monday to remind y'all about our Monday night Zoom meetings. I have a reminder as far as doing my weekly plan sheet. So I use my calendar, my phone, as a reminder. I don't necessarily put all of my appointments in there because I'm just not married to my phone calendar that much. I have to see it on paper. But I do for ongoing and weekly type reminders. It's great because you can set it to remind you the alarm to go off every week. Okay. So if you were to take my phone, I don't even know where it is now. But I have all these alarms because the reminders in the calendar just pop up once. You know what I'm talking about? Whereas the alarm will actually ring your phone. So I'm sure y'all are probably a little bit smarter on your smartphones than I am. I'm a little basic. Oh, there's some light. That's good. All right. So any questions about calendars, weekly plan sheet, any of that stuff? Okay. All right. So let me check my list. Okay. So the other thing that goes in along with that is our IPA sheet. So let me show you the IPA sheet again. This is our IPA sheet. You will find this under tracking on my website. And one of the things that I want you to understand about this income producing IPA sheet is that these boxes are not all meant to be filled in. Okay. It's not meant to be completely full. This is, let me see if I can get to, so you can read it. There we go. This is meant to give you choices. Okay. And some of us have a lot more need in order to have choices than others. Some people are really great about saying, hey, this is what you need to do, go for it, and they will go and do it. But some people really love to have choices. They say, I want to have X amount of dollars in my bank account. How do I do that? Give me some ideas. And they like that there's multiple ideas and choices. So this is meant to be, so you would number yours. I typically start mine on Monday, so I would have put 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 all the way up through here because this is my Monday week, okay? You can put 1 and 2 here and then start 3 there if you needed to. But anytime that you do these items, you give yourself a point. So a class, $100 in outside orders, when you get 5 new contacts, do an interview and a sharing sheet. If you have a guest to an event, so let's say, for example, that Roz is doing Foundation Bar in Seneca, and you bring a guest to the event, that counts as an IPA. Doing a follow-up from a sharing sheet. So that would be if you share the information with them and told them you'd check in with them, you know, next week kind of thing. When you have a new team member, so those are all worth 1 point. And then these are worth half a point. So when you do a facial, have a new booking, sell a skincare set, or make 5 phone calls. So 5 phone calls is worth half a point. So if you make 10, that's a whole point kind of thing. And so then you can total up your IPAs for the day and then how much you have in the week. Now this is an old thing as far as for Mary Kay. This was one of her original things that we always talked about. And so you can see down here at the bottom that it talks about if you want to have some part-time pay, you know, 5 IPAs, it's recommended that you do 1 skincare class. If you want full-time pay, 2 skincare classes and 10 IPAs a week. 15 IPAs and 3, it means that you are earning a career card. And then if you want to become a sales director, 20 with 3 classes. Now, I will tell you that I think that the classes are not necessarily required. Do they get you there faster? Absolutely. Okay. But I don't want you to say to me, you know, I'm not sure I have time for 3 skincare classes, but I can get my 15 IPAs in other places. I think that still works really great. All right. So again, it's not meant to be all filled in because sometimes consultants come to me and say, I really don't like that IPA sheet because there's too many boxes and I have too many blanks. It's okay. That's what it's meant to be. It's meant to be choices. Okay. So any questions about the IPA sheet? Okay. So let's talk money. Now we're going to talk money. So you've done your kickoff party. You're probably starting to sell product, collect outside orders. So what do you do with the money? Okay. So hopefully, and if not, no big deal, but that you are thinking about getting yourself a Mary Kay checking account. Okay. One of the things about the Mary Kay checking account is that it needs to be a personal account through the bank, not necessarily not a corporate account or a business account. You don't need a business account that says doing business as Mary Kay. That's not necessarily required. And because of the tax laws, it's actually a little bit better for it to be a personal account as opposed to being that business account. So that is, so wherever you bank, okay, check with them, see what their fees are in regards to a Mary Kay account as far as an extra checking account, okay? So basically, the big thing that you need to understand about your Mary Kay checking account is that when you sell product, okay, this is your balance over here. I'm going to show you this to you. It's very, okay. Okay, can y'all see that? Yeah, there we go. So this is your balance. So as you sell product, your balance is going to increase, right? You're going to deposit all your money into this account. Then you're going to take 60% and you're going to reorder the product from Mary Kay with that, okay? Hold on, I have to draw my picture better than that. 60%, okay? There we go. So 60% of that money is going to be used for reorder from the company, okay? The other 40% we say is your profit, and you're going to move this money to personal profit account. Okay. So notice what happens to your bank account as far as the balance. It's going to increase, it's going to decrease. It's going to increase because you're going to sell more product, and it's going to decrease. It's going to constantly be going up and down. So you want to make sure that the bank is not going to charge you fees on that. Okay. So no minimum balances, no transfer fees. those kinds of things. Paying attention to if they are charging you for like the number of check deposits, that kind of stuff. All right. So just pay attention and find you a bank that doesn't have any fees in it. Okay. So that way you can then continue. And the reason we say the 60% goes to the company is because when we order the product from the company, they actually charge us taxes on the retail amount. So for example, a $110 Miracle Set. Okay. So we buy that product for $55, right? This month is less. Are y'all excited? So we'll talk about that after I stop the recording because that'll be something different. But so $55, okay? But you're going to pay the retail tax amount on the 110. So for me at Myrtle Beach, my tax rate is 9%, okay? So therefore I pay $64.90 for a $110 Miracle Set from the company. So that extra 10% just helps pay my taxes and the shipping. Now, the reason that the company does that is because that helps us as business owners, as independent contractors, to not have to pay sales tax to the state of South Carolina on a monthly basis. The company actually pays those sales taxes for us. So when we charge the company, when we charge our customers sales tax, we are actually recouping that money, okay? So it's not really costing us the sales tax, but we do pay it up front, all right? So we want that extra 10% to help kind of cover your cost as far as when you order product, all right? So that's why it's a 60-40 split, okay? So if you take 500, okay, if you sold $500 this week, 300 would be yours, 300 would cover the cost on your order, and 200 would be your profit, okay? So I want you to kind of start making a list of the things that you want your Mary Kay money to pay for. Because if you don't have a goal of something that you want for yourself, not just bills, okay? So if you need it to help cover bills, that's fine. Okay, I'm not saying not to do that, but I also want you to pick out something, just a little something that you can buy for yourself using your Mary Kay money. That might be a manicure, it might be a pedicure, it might be, I don't know, a swimsuit cover-up, flip-flops. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be big, just something that you want that you're not willing to buy for yourself because you won't take it out of the family budget, okay? So that's the kind of the way that our 40-60 split works, and why with the bank accounts that we want to make sure that you have no fees and no minimum balances. Are there any questions about that part? Any questions? Okay, all right. So with that comes the discussion regarding keeping your business costs low, okay? So you probably in your very first order got a pamphlet from MK Connections. That's where we get all of our Mary Kay logoed supplies and business things for, okay? It's where we also order our Mary Kay business cards, all right? So I'm gonna show you my business card, okay? Has my picture on it, black and white. Okay, I prefer black and white business pictures just because I feel like they look pretty with the white background. All right, it's just the graphics in me. But notice it says Mary Kay down the side, okay? These business cards, if you want your business cards to say Mary Kay, you have to order them from MK Connections, all right? Now, I will tell you these business cards are a little more expensive, and I'm pretty stingy with my business cards that have my picture on them. Not because they have a picture on them, but just because they say Mary Kay and they're a little more expensive, all right? So for me, especially when I work events, when I do goodie bags, that kind of thing. Now, I will tell you that the next time I do these cards, I am going to put my picture on them. But these are business cards from Vistaprint. Okay, you can get however many for $10, whatever. And so I'm very liberal with these business cards. I'll leave them all over the place. I'll give them to anybody who wants a business card. Okay, because I just feel like that it's not costing me very much. All right. Notice that the words, the big words, say Laura Lee. I'm promoting myself, not Mary Kay, okay? But over here in the side, which is really hard to read, in the pink writing is my business, my website. It says it says marykay.com/LC Jolly, because that's my official Mary Kay website, all right? So you can put your Mary Kay website on there, all right? And I encourage you to create yourself a Mary Kay email address. All right. I know that right now you have an email address on file with Mary Kay. And that is great if that's the one that you check the most. But if you will start to check a Mary Kay one, so for like example, my office email address is lauralee.mkpink@gmail.com. So it's my name, .mkpink. And so that way my customers also kind of know that I'm with Mary Kay from my email address. All right. So that is also another great idea. National Sales Director Linda Tupin says if you create yourself a Mary Kay email, like that's separate, then when you get stuff in it, you know it's happy mail and not junk. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Like, do you get 500,000 emails a day? Yes, me too. My husband looked at my phone the other day and was like, I don't know how you handle that. So I cleaned them all off. And let me tell you this. I have 51 new unread messages. They're all junk because I would read the ones that are important. So just kind of keep that as an idea. It is definitely not required. That's the great thing about what we do is that you can decide. And so don't feel overwhelmed with all of the ideas. I just want you to take what works best for you and kind of have the information. All right. So back to low business costs. So paying attention to how much you're spending at MK Connections. Like these shirts they're basically Mary Kay on our t-shirts. Okay, you can get Mary Kay t-shirts. I got this one at Leadership. And so they offer those through MK Connections. They say Mary Kay on them. But again, if that's something that you want to use your profits for, definitely go for it. But do not feel like you have to buy all of that stuff. Okay. The other thing that's as far as money stuff goes is how do you take credit cards? So by now, I think we've got y'all set up on either Square, Venmo, or ProPay. Okay, so each one of those has a different perk. I love Square because it has no setup fees. All right, and it deposits automatically into your bank account the next day. Venmo is great because it's automatic as far as immediate. Then you do have to transfer it to your bank account if that's something that you choose to do. I have seen a couple of people questioning as far as, there's no quote unquote like security clause through Venmo as far as keeping your bank account attached. I typically don't keep my Venmo attached to a bank account. I leave my money sitting in my Venmo account and then I use it as I need to. And then I can always transfer it out and then again unattach it, because with Venmo it automatically drafts out of your account. Okay, so that may be the downfall of Venmo, but people are using it a lot. My customers were asking me, "Can I pay you via Venmo?" And I finally said yes. Okay, and then the ProPay does talk to our personal websites through Mary Kay. There is a fee to set those up. It's $39.95 a year as an annual fee for ProPay. But it does allow your customers to pay online on your personal website. So speaking of personal websites, those personal websites are fabulous as far as the cost regarding those. They're only $30 a year. And so with that, then the company maintains it and your customers can actually go straight to your website and shop online. And you will get a notification that you have an online order from the company. Okay, so yes, and then when you do sign up for ProPay, you can do that in 3 installments. They allow you to do that as far as 3 installments. So I think it's like 3 installments of $13 or something like that by the time you get with the taxes and that kind of thing. So that is an option as well if you have a personal website and you want people to order online and pay online, you will need to sign up for ProPay services. But again, they will send you an order notice no matter what, and then you can always send them an invoice with Square if you want to use Square. Okay. So any questions about the ProPay, MK Connections type stuff? Good. All right. All right. Moving on to let's talk about some tax stuff, just kind of initial tax stuff. And then I'm going to go back to one more thing as far as time management stuff that I forgot because it's on the bottom of my list because it came to my brain later. As far as taxes, okay, one of the things that I do recommend is that you figure out a place When I was first starting and I was working full time and my babies were little and things were crazy and hectic. I mean, things are crazy and hectic now, don't get me wrong. But I was just at a different place. It was hectic differently then. I had an envelope in my car and I had a box in my office. It was a Mary Kay shipping box. It was the mid-size box. You all know what I'm talking about? The boxes that are about the size of this on the bottom, you know, and they go up from there. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Some of the unities. Like this size box. This is a cookie box. Wonder where this came from, Ross. This would be a move box. So, one of those boxes used to sit in my office. Now, I have the manila envelope system. And notice that there are lots of papers and receipts shoved in this envelope, okay? It is not organized. I do not organize my receipts until Tracy does it. And if I don't give them to Tracy, then I organize the receipts about April 10th. Okay, that's about the time I start thinking about my taxes. For me, I just shove it all in the envelopes. And then now I give it to Tracy, who is my office manager. If y'all have not talked to Tracy, she's fabulous. She'll help you with anything you need. If you cannot get me, you cannot get your recruiter, and you need to know something, she will track me down, okay, and send me a message and say, hey, Victoria needs XYZ. You need to call her or whatever. So just message my office. You probably got a message from her in regards to your headshot and that kind of thing, and you'll get daily updates or monthly updates from her as well from my office. But one of the things is the most important thing about taxes is you got to have the receipts, okay? Now, I will tell you, I wasn't fabulous about that originally. So I went through and I used my bank statements as receipts and evidence, but that is a lot of work, okay? So if you can keep up with the receipts and shove them in somewhere that you'll know that those are your Mary Kay tax receipts, then that is fabulous, okay? It will help you in the long run. So one of the things that, you need to keep up with is all your packing slips, okay? Now, the great thing is you can go back to Mary Kay and print them later. But again, it's just a lot of time-consuming work when you sit down at April 10th and have to do all that, okay? Don't ask me how I know, okay? Things such as office supplies, any kind of event receipts. So let's say that you decide to come to seminar with us, okay? You'll have event registration, seminar registration. You'll have your flight or gas going out there. You'll have food. You'll have travel supplies, any of that kind of stuff, okay? So all of that is tax deductible. Let's say you come to fall retreat. Again, you'll have hotel, event registration, mileage getting there, okay? Then office supplies. So let's say that you buy yourself some containers to put your product in, okay? Those Rubbermaid totes, manila envelopes, pens, things, cotton balls for your starter kit. All of those things are tax deductible, okay? So just if they are on a receipt by themselves, great, just shove the whole thing in there. I will tell you, I typically write on the top of my receipts what they are: office supplies, leadership, day one dinner, okay? Just whatever. It just helps in the sorting process later as to what it is, okay? So again, keeping all of those receipts, anything that you think is Mary Kay related, hang on to it. Your tax advisor, okay, we are not official tax advisors. We cannot make those recommendations to you, but they will help you decide what is and what isn't deductible, okay? But the biggest thing for y'all, the other thing is food. If you do food for your parties, those are tax deductible if it's food for your Mary Kay parties, okay? And then if you have food at events, like you're out of town eating, that is taxable, okay? The other thing for taxes is starting your self-to list, okay? One is a personal use list and one is a demo list, all right? Your personal use list is going to be anything that you pulled, that you ordered product from Mary Kay, but you pulled it and used it yourself. That is not seen, visible, or smells good, all right? So fragrances and like your makeup, your eyeshadows, your mascara, sorry, I got the hiccup. Foundations, those things you don't have to worry about because those are advertisement. They get pulled back out in the cost of doing business. If you want to keep up with all of those, absolutely, you can do that. But your moisturizers, your cleansers, your primers, body lotion that doesn't smell, sun care, those kinds of things are all of that you're using is personal use. And so you need to put that on there so that way it can be deducted out because you're not making any money on that. All right. So you want your tax advisor to know that that is potential, that is not potential income for you. All right. You use that stuff. And then the second one is the demo list. So anything that you order from Mary Kay that doesn't come in your starter kit that you open and add to your kit. For example, microderm does not come in your kit. If you open a microderm and you put it in your bag to use as a demo, you can put that on the demo list and that is 100% tax deductible. Okay, so keeping up with those lists of things that you use. Ultra makeup remover, as you work through your bag, your cleansers, moisturizers, any of those things that you need to replace or add to, lip glosses, lipsticks, all of those are that become demos. They can be added to your demo list. Okay. So are there any questions about the demo list, the receipts, the packing slips, any of that tax stuff? Okay. The last thing tax-wise is your mileage. Okay. So this is a huge tax deduction for me. I get like $7,000 in tax deductions because of my mileage. I drive about 15,000 miles, Mary Kay miles a year. And so I get 55 cents for every mile that I drive. All right. And so I keep up with that a little bit differently than when I did originally as a new consultant. I used a little notebook. It was about the size of this mirror. Okay. You know, they make those little bitty spiral notebooks. I basically opened it up, put the date, put my starting mileage before I left my house, and then I'd put the mileage when I got home. So that way if I would, and I just put party or meeting or wherever I was going. All right. That worked great for me for a while. And as things got a little crazier and a little chaotic, I did decide to purchase, I do pay a monthly fee for a Mileage IQ app. Again, as far as keeping costs low, that's totally up to you if you feel like you're driving enough. But for me, it was worth it because that $6 that I spend as far as monthly kept up with my mileage for me. So I didn't have to worry about if I forgot to write it down or if I didn't write it down, whatever. Okay. So, but definitely keeping up with your mileage. Anything that you're driving, anytime you make a delivery, go to an event. If Victoria, if you and Roz are meeting for lunch, Lacey, if you meet me or, you know, Lacey for lunch, whatever, to talk Mary Kay, then that is Mary Kay mileage. Okay. So all of that is tax deductible and it becomes a huge, huge deduction business wise. Raj, you got a question? Okay. Hold on, you're muted.
So if the mileage count, like, so when Victoria and I met for ice cream and we talked about Mary Kay that day, the mileage counts, but does the ice cream count? Because I do know that if we're outside our 30 minutes, if we're doing parties, outside our 30 minutes does count. Inside the 30 minutes doesn't because they consider we can go home to eat.
Correct.
But I didn't know if we're meeting new potentials and we buy them something at Starbucks or Chick-fil-A or whatever, and we're discussing Mary Kay, does that stuff get written off?
I think you have to ask your tax advisor.
Okay.
Because I think that the waters are real muddy there, and so I think it depends on what your tax advisor says because he's going to be the one standing behind you on the audit. So that's the biggest thing. So I think you've got to ask them, but thank you for asking. Any other questions? Okay. So the last thing that I have for you is your six most important things to do list. So I'm sorry we didn't talk about this at the beginning with your time management stuff, but every evening, Mary Kay Ash always encouraged us to do a 6 list. You'll hear us talk about a 6 list. And that is a 6 most important things to do list. And I will be impressed if you can make a list of only 6 things. But what I do encourage you to do is by making a list and then numbering them 1 through 6 as far as importance, so that way you get the most important things done. And I encourage you to put the hardest or the things that you dread most. See, there's my alarm going off to remind me what time it is. So the thing that you dread the most or you don't want to do the most, if you'll put it first, so that way you can check it off the list. Because how many of you use creative avoidance and never get those things done? It just gets transferred to the next day, to the next day, to the next day. And so by doing that, you are way more productive. And I know when I do my list and I get up in the morning and I have a list to check off, I get way more done than if I just try and figure it out. Okay. So that is, so that was something that she started a long time ago. And when she was first starting this company, and always believed in doing that. And so we encourage you as consultants. We do it as sales directors. And I'll tell you, when our days go much smoother and quicker when we make that happen. So, so I hope that makes sense. I'm going to stop the recording.